Okay, so if you want to ask some questions to the guys, just raise your hand. We've got two guys with microphones that'll come and find you. And then just make sure you think about your question, pose it to them. I'm going to ask a question first, if you don't mind. And I was just watching the whole Donington live DVD, the beginning of that, and it's just an incredible display for someone who wasn't there. Watching that go out on the screen made me feel like I was there. Whose idea was it to release that? Who watched the footage for the first time and went, you know, we should put this out for people? Any other questions?
Pass.
I don't. It was. I think it came out on video when in '91, I think. Right. Yeah, but it never went to DVD. So.
So why DVD? Why did you decide to release it? Just with the added extra features and stuff like that, a chance to muck around with those?
Yeah, well, it never went to DVD, which we always thought it should have. So, but it took a long time actually. Yeah. It's when we went over to Sony. They decided to get that together for us. You know, it was something we stipulated at the time. We'd like to get it out. Yeah.
When you're actually watching that DVD, when you're watching, you know, that performance from Donington, obviously with the exception of Phil for the minute, I mean, what memories does that actually bring back? Do you have any specific memories of that particular occasion? Angus, when you got up there and started the riff to Thunderstruck, I mean that.
Yeah, well, they were loud. The audience was loud. You know, so, and that's probably that was our third time in Donington, wasn't it? So that was I think the loudest. You know, I think it was just one of those days. Everything, there was a lot gone into it. A lot of, they had something like 24 cameras, wasn't it? All over the stage. So, and it, you know, it was good that everything sort of come together. You know, you could have got all the cameras there, got the band there, and everything. It could have been a real, you know, rain out day, but this day it was, you know, just a good rock day.
Yeah, we've been looking at Donington, you know, it's always been good, you know, that the weather's always been kind for us. In fact, I think it only ever rained once at an outdoor gig, and that was in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em. And, you know.
Phil, how do you feel about that
Candy
performance?
chocolate.
Obviously, you weren't at that particular performance, that particular one, so I mean, I guess you've watched it since. How do you feel the band played on that particular day?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't take that much interest in it. It's sort of, you know, it's part of what the band was doing when I was having a break. But I'm back and look out.
Hold on. Okay, let's open it up to the floor. Yep.
I was wondering, you did a great version of You Shook Me All Night Long on a radio station in the USA. and I don't know if it's just two guys involved, or Malcolm, Angus and Brian perhaps, I don't know. Any plans to do an AC/DC Unplugged or play at the Cambridge Folk Festival? Like I'm in Cambridge. Let's get AC/DC back to the Cambridge Folk Festival, man. Any chance?
No.
Acoustic bass will be all right, Cliff.
We
Acoustic
were
bass,
tricked into that. That was that Howard Stern booker.
But it was great though, wasn't it? I mean,
I can't hear him. It was 8:10 in the morning,
It was
man.
a fantastic version.
He just sort of thrust these guitars into the lads' hands, and he says, "Hey lads, how about a song?"
Yeah, but any plans from MTV or anyone to get an album, you know, an unplugged TV show going? You know?
Would you ever consider it, doing an unplugged, something without amplification of sorts?
You ever heard us?
Anything's possible. It's just let's accept this.
Unwanted.
I think that answers the question. Let's start with you. Yep.
Any details on an upcoming album?
Details. Well, we're working on me and Malcolm, and well, we were out, you know, ever since we've been off the road, more or less. We just put together ideas and hope we come, you know, that they come together and we get a new album out quick. So.
Any ballads?
Any what?
Any ballads?
No.
Any questions relating
Everyone else
unplugged
does
or,
that. Yeah.
unplugged or ballads? We
Yeah.
should remember this is AC/DC that we have here on
Yeah,
stage.
you come to hear us to get deafened and never.
Just on the subject of the new album, because I think that we could talk a little bit more about that. Have you thought about working with any kind of producers? Would you like to work with Mutt Lang again, or have you thought about like who you'd like to get to work with on this record?
Spielberg. Yeah.
You and everybody else.
Yeah. Well.
I think both the guys we've worked with, George Young and Mutt Lang, have both got wonderful points about them, you know, and they're just great to work with. And if we could get anybody like any of them two, we'd be happy, I would imagine, you know, that understand rock and roll, that feel it, you know. Especially George, he's an old rocker from Weerberg. Sorry, lads.
There was a question in the middle, I think, someone who was waiting. Yeah.
Are you guys thinking of playing any new material tonight?
We've got. I think we've been making albums since the crucifixion. So I mean, if you add them all up, I think we've got to try and cover as much as, you know, how many we've made. So we try to, you know, you try and do a bit of mix and match and hope we get it right. Yeah. So.
When do you actually choose the set list for the gigs? Do you do it on the day before the show?
Yeah, well, we're still working it out now, aren't we? Yeah.
Is it a source of argument? I mean, you've got 5 people in the band who all, I'm sure, like playing.
Yeah, we've all got our favourites, haven't they? You know, so it's a bit of you know, I want to play this, now I want to play that. The hard part is leaving out tracks, you know, because, you know, somebody says, "Oh, don't leave that out," you know. Sort of. There's been a few of them, yeah.
Just going down the line before we take another question, can you guys just pick one particular favourite that you've enjoyed playing this year, the few shows that you've done this year, starting with you, Malcolm?
Well, I think Highway to Hell is always a killer. You know, even when it sounds crap, it sounds great.
Gone shooting.
Say that again?
Gone shooting.
Rock and Roll Damnation.
Whole lot of Rosie.
If you want blood.
Right on. Okay. Do we have a next? Who's got a mic? Yep. Okay. And the red? Yep. You go.
Will you ever get tired of making music and doing concerts?
Yeah, I certainly don't. I love every minute of it, you know. Every time, you know, you get on stage. This year's been fun, you know, because we usually do an album and go on tour. And for the first time this year, we've had a lot of fun and excitement doing stuff, you know, doing the gigs with the Stones in Germany, and then doing small gigs which we've never done. Well, I've never done with the boys, and like the Circus Krone and the little place in Berlin, which I've forgotten, and then you know and then straight from there, we played the Circus Krone, which is about 1,000 people, and then about 3 weeks later in Toronto, there's like 500,000 people there, you know, and it was fun this year because we didn't have the whole set with us. We didn't have all the bells and whistles. It was just the 5 lads on the stage with a...
Relying on our good looks.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Just a stack of giddy in there. Shake of the arse and you're up. But it was good fun.
Was that really the first time you'd actually done shows that weren't of a stadium-sized level with the band, Brian?
For that size, absolutely, yeah. And it was a lot of fun. You know, you can feel, you know, you're more, I don't know what it is, you're just like a real unit. You can, you know, you're not, Malcolm's not 25 yards away, you know, like, hey, mate. You know, you're right there in a huddle, you know. It's good fun, I like that.
Just, has anyone got any questions about the dates with the Rolling Stones this year? Because they were mentioned. Can we give a mic to this gentleman? Because I think that'd be quite interesting to go.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that, about the Rolling Stones, how you get on with them and how you enjoyed playing with them, and also is the fact that the Rolling Stones asked you to play with them an acknowledgement on their part that you act rather than them are the greatest group in the world.
Nice one.
Checks in the mail.
It's a fine compliment.
Yeah, well, it was kind of, we got together in a kind of strange way, wasn't it? Yeah. Because they were in Australia, which is our stomping ground. And it was mainly, I think it was Keith Richards, wasn't it? He asked if me and Mal would come up and strum, you know, with him on stage. Yeah. So that was a kind of shock, you know, because when you got this guy kind of standing in front of you, you're going to play Rock Me Baby and there's going to be a C. Yeah. You kind of feel like you're confronted with all your demons at once, you know. So, and then from there, they asked us if we would do some dates with them through Europe, wasn't it? So we thought it'd be something different. So we decided to do it, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then, you know, we finished with them in Europe, and then they said, oh, come with us to Canada. So we went and done this big SARS, was it SARS? Yes, SARS festival thing in Toronto with them, which was great.
Oh, it was marvellous. We had fun.
Was it quite nice to actually walk away, to not have the pressure of headlining, you know, going on and headlining like you say, Donington, you know, sort of 500,000 people, which is another day at the office for AC/DC, you know, just to let you, to just relax a little more, be almost on someone else's gig?
Yeah, well, it was good in that sense because you got nothing. You just go out there and rely on your wits, you know. You've got no tricks, no nothing. And, you know, just me in that school suit, so, and that comes off halfway through the show, so, you know.
We're just a support act then too, so, and it was good because it's still, we were hungry to blow them away, to be honest.
Yeah, did you? Good question.
Well, I know in Canada, definitely, it took the show. Yeah.
Okay, another question. Who's been waiting the longest time? Bounce your hand up twice. There you go. Do it at the back with his palm raised.
There's a lot of bands at the moment like Jets and the Datsuns. They're really name-checking AC/DC. I mean, what do you feel about new bands? Does it make you feel proud?
It depends what they're doing. I've not really heard. I think I heard one. I think the Jets. I think that was in Sydney. They were on. So, but yeah, it's good, I suppose. You know, as long as you know they're not picking up your bad habits.
As long as it gets rid of the crap that's pissing about in England in a minute, you know what I mean? Fucking every time I don't live here. When I come back, you turn the TV on and you go, what the fuck is happening here? You know, it's fucking serious. Excuse
He's a
me.
big fan of English TV.
I didn't see the moving cameras back there. No, I'm sorry about that.
Coronation Street off, Brian.
Right.
I mean, it's all right to see a bit of tit and ass, but you know, Christ almighty, it's fucking hard a time.
I kind of see where the guy's going, though. I mean, modern rock is definitely, at the moment, 3 or 4 years ago, there weren't as many good, strong, young modern rock bands that were coming out. A lot of them do draw inspiration from bands like Led Zeppelin and yourselves and from the Rolling Stones and so forth. Do you listen to modern music? Do you ever actively go into a record store and search things out, perhaps at the recommendation of somebody else?
I think, you know, there's always something new comes out each generation, you know. But I mean, it gets harder, I think, because you know, you've been around for we've been around for a while now, so, I think the ones that usually stand out are the ones like yourself that will survive. You know, it's pretty hard to say, oh, this is the thing at the moment, and you go, yeah, but they said that last week. Yeah, so.
And it's hard for new bands anyway, because if they're not commercially accepted instantly, they're dumped. You know, we were lucky. We weren't accepted instantly, but we were a good live act, so we could keep going.
Like bacteria, you know?
Yeah. But it's hard. There'll be fewer and fewer good bands come through because of that.
Okay, next question. Over there, the guy in the pink shirt. I'll get to you. Sorry, I will get to you in the front row next.
It's 21 years since you played here at the Hammersmith Apollo, as it was then. What are your memories of that, if you have any at all?
Then it was the Odeon, wasn't it?
The Hammersmith Odeon, sorry. What are your memories generally of playing in London? How important is London as a venue for you?
Well, it was really the first place we come to when we first come out of Australia, wasn't it? So this was our, it was like our make or break when we first come here. So we had to make a go of it, we had a lot of debt and stuff. So, we really had to come here and try and, break into, the music scene of the world from here. So really here we were discovered from here, weren't we? We were signed out of here, so, and from here it got us all over Europe, the word of mouth, and mainly a lot of word of mouth, so, and then from Europe into America, so, I would say it'd be very important, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we did some pubs, then clubs, we did a couple of marquees, and I think 4 months after we got here, we headlined in Hammersmith.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, just for work in London.
Yeah.
I believe you were next, and then we'll come over there. Yeah.
Is there a particular reason that have made you decide to play the Carling venue? I mean, you guys have played stadiums all over the world. I mean, yeah, they're relaunching the venue, but you guys could have gone so. So is it an attempt to get back to, the venues, an attempt to get back to the old sort of Hammersmith Odeon days, sort of bring it more in as a live sort of, I mean, it's always been live, but, it's more, I don't know, bring sort of more rock and roll back to the venue, because for a long time it's sort of been river dance and things like that. Do you know what I mean?
I think it was more a case of why not,
Do your little dance.
I was getting a Michael Flaherty attack there. No, it was a good thing to do, because we have the DVD coming out as well. We did those small gigs in Germany, and we thought it'd be only fair to do it in England too, since as the boys have just explained, really this is where it really started for the lads. Sydney as well, but I mean in Europe, across the pond, and it's got special memories, and it's a great venue. It's a great venue.
And you got licorice all sorts.
And for 10 quid, you can't go wrong, mate.
A tenner.
Know what I mean?
Can't complain about that one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This gentleman. Then we'll come into the middle.
Enjoyed hearing about your exploits with the Rolling Stones, Hannah Brian. I'm just wondering, are you guys planning to keep going as long as the Rolling Stones? Is that the master plan?
We're heading that far,
We're thinking of using the Jacques Cousteau method. We'll run out of air, we'll just keep on going, we'll run out of air, I guess.
Well, you're making a pretty good job of it. And do you have plans to tour in Britain again? Because you've been over in Germany and Canada, and we've missed you.
Yeah. Well, we'd like to, I think, yeah. So
some of the big gigs again, some of the big venues?
Yeah, I think probably the next time we come through, after this we'll be back writing again, getting ready for a new album. So, but definitely if we come on tour again, we want to do, besides doing, major gigs, but we want to do a lot of other out of the way places too, who haven't seen you in a long time.
And are you going to come back tomorrow night and check out The Darkness? They're playing here.
I've heard they're a lot of fun. I saw a vid of them guys, and and
He sees it every night.
they were, just these guys were having great fun playing. I'm all for that. I mean, I haven't heard any of that stuff yet, but I've heard
They're one of the hottest acts at the moment.
yeah, a lot of the kids were talking about them, you know. And,
they always say AC/DC, you know, they're big fans.
yeah,
of
I may
yours.
pop along and have a look. As long as if they're fun, it's great. If take yourself too serious,
He might be sweeping it.
The album's called Permission to Land. I'm sure somebody will sort you out a copy if you like, Brian, no problem. Okay, who was next? Guy in the bandana, and we'll get to the side.
Can you recall any funny anecdotes from playing in this venue? Maybe in Spinal Tap moment?
Spinal Tap on.
What was that?
Oh, go on. Coming to the theatre.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Actually, the first time we ever headlined here, Bond decided to get a tube to the gig rather than get a car. So he came along and with all the fans, basically off the train. And when he got here, he couldn't get in. So he was walking up and down the front, and we had some people taking a photo out in front of the Hammersmith because it's the first time we'd headlined in Britain at all. And they took a photo, and walking along the front of the Hammersmith is Bond with all these fans trying to get in. See, you had to buy a ticket to get in.
You're joking, you didn't, seriously.
He's had to do that a couple of times. He took Angus around the Apollo in Glasgow once, on his shoulders, and they couldn't get back. So he dropped Angus off, and then he tried to get back up, and the bouncers held him back. So they threw him outside. He had to buy a ticket to get back in, to get back on the stage.
Did he invoice you for it?
Nah, he forgot.
Next, yep, go there.
Any plans to tour Australia again soon? And if so, would that take in some smaller venues like this as well?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think it's, for us, it's a good thing, you know, you get back in, you play somewhere, and people see you there, warts and all, so they can count Brian's wrinkles. You know. Not mine.
So just for the record, the aim is to record a brand new album, finish writing and record a brand new album, and then head out back on a world tour again?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Yep, okay. Oh, sorry, did you have another question?
Any smaller venues in Australia that you'd like to play at?
Oh, that Enmore.
Yeah, the Enmore Theatre.
That was a good. That's the first time we'd ever been there, just recently.
When were you there?
January. We were there. We did it. That's when we went down to see the Stones and had a jam with them. But that's a good. It's a bit like the Hammersmiths, a little, probably half the size. But something like that, it's a good place to warm up, you know.
Okay, gentleman with the glasses over there in the corner now.
Just two-part question. I was just wondering, what's the incentive to keep you going at this point? Is it that, you know, you still feel that there's a certain amount of great records that you want to make, or is there just nothing else that beats just going out and playing the shows, playing to the audiences and the kick you get out of playing live? Or is it the laugh you have together?
Well, it is a lifestyle, you know. That's the thing. After 30 years,
we know no better.
That's right. There's more years in the band than out of the band, and it's just something that you always think there's another song coming, you know. So as long as that comes, we'll be there. You know, you don't want to run around as a nostalgic old act playing your greatest hits. You know, as long as there's good music still coming through, that's what keeps the band.
We still feel we got, you know, good rock and roll tunes in us. So that's what keeps you going. The challenge, you know, of trying to come up with something a bit different, but still AC/DC.
Guy next to him with the...
You played a smaller, low-key affair last night, didn't you? What was that like?
What, we done a what?
Oh, that was good fun in front of the prize winners.
Oh, yeah.
It was AC/DC Cabaret. It was great, you know. It was like a little lounge gig. The lads were there, you know, and we just ran through a few songs, you know, just get the rust out, you know. I'm been together for a few months, and it's lovely when you know, and they made a lot of noise. There was only a bunch of the guys at the front, you know, and you know, same as usual. They knew the words better than me, bastards. And
does it happen often? When you forget words on stage?
Not now. I got an auto cue.
Okay, a couple more questions I reckon we've got time for. So there's two gentlemen down the middle. Yeah, the guy with the glasses and the brown jacket first, I think.
Could I just ask you, because I'm from TV2 Norway, would Norway be one of those outback places you'd consider playing at? And
Someone said they did ask them to come and support us here. So, yeah, but Norway, we've always played Norway.
Yeah, my brother-in-law lives here.
You still like it?
Yeah, it's cold, you know, but I like it up there, you know.
People are warm.
In the economical side of your business.
Yeah, well, the name of the band's, AC/DC, and we come up with slogans like "Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap." So you can pretty much take that as what we are. It's pretty much dirty deeds done dirt cheap. The only thing that's expensive is probably the school suits. So
the accountant's expensive. Sorry, Alan.
But it's never about economy. I mean, we done this gig. As Mal says, we done it for 10 quid because we thought, well, that's a good round sum. It's not going to bust the bank. And we liked it. And we done that big Zaz show in Canada, and I mean that went for what? They saw us, the Stones, and a whole heap of acts, Canadian acts, American acts. And I think, what was the price? $15 American. Yeah, $15 American. I mean, you couldn't do better than that. And besides us and the Stones, they got to see,
Guess Who?
And other things, like Justin Timber.
He got booed off.
Yeah, but different things.
Sorry, I was tears in my eye.
I think we've got time for, I've been told we've got time for one more question, so it's who puts the hand up tallest, basically. Oh, we've got to go in the middle? Okay, there you go.
Thank you. I know AC/DC can be a full-time job, but while you're not doing music or while you're not touring, what are you doing? And especially me coming from Greece, I know Brian is preparing something that has to do with Helen of Troy.
I think, okay, maybe with the exception of Brian, that particular subject, you guys want to actually talk about what you do with your spare time for the...
Well, I know it's just the same thing. We got little studios, you just mess around with your guitars and what have you. You're always thinking music, it's pretty boring really for people to but basically we call it boxing. We're in our box. They put us back in our box when we're not
So I guess the upshot of that is to finish a record and get out of the box and get back out on the road.
That's right. It's all about getting back in and out of the box. That's how we sort of look at it.
You go from one box then to another box. You go to a studio and then you're in that box, and then from that box you go into a video thing, and then that's another box, and then from there you go into another box.
We'll let you out of this box so you can do a gig in front of 5,000 people in another box.
In another box.
This evening. I'm afraid we run out of time. I hope you guys got everything. No, we're not going to go down. Not going to go down that road. So, yeah, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you. Thank you. Please come in. So you're fine. Sorry. Thank you. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. Nice to meet
Okay, we shut your see you next.
Thank you, Angus. Thanks very much. Spain.
Spain.
Don't forget about
Obviously
Spain,
in Greece,
Angus.
Angus. You've never played in Greece.
I know.
Obviously you've never played.
Sorry.
If you can put Asia in there, because people might go for it.
What's her name?
Asia.
Asia, like the continent.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Angus.
Yeah.
The merchants just come out of there. Did it shoot up here or around that way?